Welcome back, Wildcat Nation, to episode 13 of season 6. I'm Abby Harvey with Isaac Wolf, and today we're spotlighting the men's bowling team. We will be joined by sophomores Caiden Lundsford and Landon Thomas.
The Wildcats are in the middle of their season, coming off their first program win on November 23rd at the Warrior Classic in Michigan, as well as tying their highest finish in Crossroads League bowling. Both Lundsford and Thomas are finding crucial moments in the lineup for the Wildcats. The team competes 2 more times before the new year.
Before we get started, here's your Crossroads League Week in Review.
I'm Isaac Wolf with your Crossroads League Week in Review. We start off in volleyball, where Indiana Wesleyan appeared in the national championship game for the second straight year, facing off against Bellevue of Nebraska. The Wildcats won the first set 25-22, which was back and forth after an initial 6-point Wildcat lead early on. Bellevue responded by dominating the next 2 sets, winning 25-16 and 25-13. With their backs against the wall down 2-1, the Wildcats fought back in the 4th set. They had been in the exact same position last season in the 2023 National Championship game versus Northwestern of Iowa before they came back and won in 5 sets. The Wildcats played very well in the 4th set, extending their lead to as many as 9 points before forcing a 5th set with a 25-18 win. Then came the 5th set. The Wildcats jumped on the first 3 points of the set, but the Bruins responded with 5 in a row. The game was tied at 6 until a 7-0 run put Bellevue up 13-6. A kill from Marissa Mullins and a service ace from Kamaya Murray made it 13-8. Bellevue was on the brink of the title after a kill on their side. Championship point, 14-8 was the score. An attack error gave the Wildcats a window of hope and a side out. Freshman Autumn Kohlauer stepped up to the occasion. Another attacking error from the Bruins made it 14-9. Then another attacking error. Then another. And another. And another. And another. And soon enough, the game was tied. Kohlauer still serving, Bellevue failed to connect on their next attack to give the Wildcats the lead 15-14. On championship point for the Wildcats, Bellevue was called for a double, their 8th straight attacking error, and Indiana Wesleyan completed one of the most dramatic comebacks in volleyball history, scoring 8 straight points to win their 2nd straight national championship. Junior Ava Joldersma led the team with 17 kills, while graduate Martina DeMarchi put up 16 kills and 15 digs in her final game. Quite the way to go out. DeMarchi finishes her career 6th all-time in program history in career kills. Senior Julia Price had 6 blocks in her final match, while Abby Porter and Marissa Mullins each added 4. Porter also had 40 assists, and libero Katie Notter had 12 digs. As for the All-Tournament awards, it was a clean sweep for the Wildcats. The All-Tournament coach was Candace Most. The attacker of the tournament, as well as the MVP for the 2nd straight year, was Ava Joldersma. The setter of the tournament was Abby Porter for the 2nd straight year, and DeMarchi, Joldersma, and Porter each made the all-tournament team. The Wildcats finished the season 37-2 and on a 34-game win streak, with their last loss coming on August 24th to Concordia University of Nebraska. The Wildcats now improved to 75-2 over the last 2 seasons with 2 Crossroads League Conference and Conference Tournament titles, as well as 2 national championships. Moving on to football, where Indiana Wesleyan fell short in the quarterfinals of the national tournament, losing 20-9 at home against Benedictine College of Kansas. The Ravens defense shut down Indiana Wesleyan quarterback Kyle Antoine, forcing him into 3 interceptions and 0 touchdowns. Orion Whitwell ran for 102 yards and 1 touchdown, but it wasn't enough as 2 scores on the ground and great defense from Benedictine earned them the trip to the national semifinals. In men's basketball, Indiana Wesleyan continues their shaky start to conference play. The Wildcats lost on the road at Bethel on Wednesday 97-89 despite 40 points from Griffin Cleaver. That marked the first time in program history that the Wildcats started 0-3 in conference play. They bounced back with a win at home against Spring Arbor on Saturday 89-83. Cleaver and Cademan Bontrager combined for 44 points in the win. The Wildcats played an additional non-conference game on Monday against East West University and won 111-57. The Wildcats are now 8-3 and number 22 in the national poll. Bethel jumped to number 10 after their impressive start to conference play. The Pilots, after a 2-0 week with wins against Iwu and St. Francis, are 10-1 as they head to Miami Gardens to take on Florida Memorial University and Ave Maria University. The Wildcats will be a part of that tournament as well. Number 16, Grace went 1-1 this week, losing on the road at Spring Arbor 76-61 on Wednesday and defeating Taylor 88-76 on Saturday. Gage Sefton led the way with 24 points in the win over the Trojans, and the Lancers are now 8-3 heading into their matchup on Friday against IU East before they take a trip to San Antonio, Texas to face a pair of opponents. Number 17, Huntington also went 1-1, dropping a road game at St. Francis 89-65 on what was simply a poor shooting night from the Foresters. They bounced back with an 82-71 win against Mount Vernon. Lane Sparks led the team with 30 points, while Landon Jordan added 20 off the bench. Huntington will travel to Sarasota, Florida for their Christmas break tournament, where they will play 2 games against New College of Florida and Ave Maria. In women's basketball, number 2 IWU handled both of their opponents this week. They beat Bethel 75-46 and had a little more trouble with Spring Arbor, trailing at multiple points in the game, but eventually closing it out and winning 69-59. Lily Frazier led the way, averaging 17 points and 11 rebounds per game in the victories. The Wildcats will now head to Hawaii for a pair of games over the holiday break. Number 11, St. Francis remains undefeated at 11-0 after a 2-0 week against Huntington and Bethel. Cassidy Crawford had 26 points in the win against Taylor. Against Goshen, Callie Gregory was the leading scorer with 28. The Cougars will go down to Ave Maria as well for 2 games against the hometown Jarreens and New College of Florida. Number 15, Marion defeated Taylor and Goshen each by over 26 points to move to 10-1 on the season. Abby McNally led the team, averaging 22 points and 9.5 rebounds across the wins. As for this week's Crossroads League Awards, the Women's Basketball Offensive Player of the Week is Serenity Johnson of Mount Vernon. Johnson averaged 26 points, 13 rebounds, 4.5 assists, and 3.5 steals per outing for Mount Vernon, helping the Cougars to a league win over Huntington. The freshman went for 34 points, 17 rebounds, and 4 assists in the 89-85 upset of the Foresters. The Women's Basketball Defensive Player of the Week is Peyton Murphy of Grace. Murphy filled the stat sheets in games against Spring Arbor and Taylor. The senior averaged 10 rebounds, 4.5 steals, and half a block to go with 17.5 points and 3.5 assists for the Lancers in those 2 outings. In the win over Taylor, Murphy had 21 points, 14 rebounds, and 6 steals. The Men's Basketball Offensive Player of the Week is Trent Edwards of Bethel. Edwards dropped a career-high 30 points on 13 of 20 shooting to highlight then number 22 Bethel's 95-78 win over St. Francis. That outing helped Edwards finish the week with 22.5 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists per game to go with shooting 60% from the field. The Men's Basketball Defensive Player of the Week is Anton Webb of Taylor. Webb guided Taylor to a 2-1 week with big numbers on both sides of the court. The senior posted 17.7 points, 12 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, and 1.7 blocks per game, and registered a pair of double-double performances. The Women's Indoor Track and Field Track Athlete of the Week is Katie Woods of Marion. Woods posted a winning time of 4 minutes and 52.93 seconds in the mile for Marion at the Indiana Tech Warrior Open. The blazing time set a new Marion record and automatically qualified Woods for NAIA Nationals. The Women's Indoor Track and Field Field Athlete of the Week is Sophia Summer of Bethel. Summer topped the field in the pole vault for Bethel at the Notre Dame Blue and Gold Invite. The junior automatically qualified for Nationals with a cleared height of 3.8 meters. The Men's Indoor Track and Field Track Athlete of the Week is Eli Fullerton of Indiana Wesleyan. Fullerton won the 5,000-meter race at the Grand Valley State Holiday Open, automatically qualifying for Nationals and setting a new IWU program record with his time of 14 minutes and 14 seconds. The Men's Indoor Track and Field Field Athlete of the Week is Armani Glass of Marion. Glass hit NAIA standard with a winning leap of 7.32 meters in the long jump from Marion at the Indiana Tech Warrior Open. That performance set a new Marion record and was one of 2 personal bests for the senior, who also posted a 13.62 in the triple jump. The Women's Bowler of the Week is Samantha Bean of Goshen. Bean made the all-tournament team in each of the first 2 Crossroads League bowling tournaments, taking 3rd and 6th overall. The freshman totaled 1,107 pins for the weekend, averaging 184.5 pins per game for the Maple Leafs. And the Men's Bowler of the Week is Chad Burgess of Marion. Burgess finished 19th and 2nd overall at the first 2 Crossroads League bowling tournaments of the season. The junior led Marion with 1,284 pins over 6 games, averaging 214 pins per game to lead Marion to a pair of top 2 finishes. That's all for this week with your Crossroads League Week in Review. I'm Isaac Wolf.
All right, so you guys just had your first 2 Crossroads League tournaments. How would you guys describe how those went?
I'd say they went pretty good. We had really guys team. We had a 4th place and a 3rd place finish, and Amanda Koros, probably one of our best girl bowlers, finished getting like an all-tournament team both times. So for both teams, it went pretty well, I'd say.
Yeah, I'd say it went pretty well. While I didn't bowl, I know you bowled. We grinded pretty hard to get those 4th and 3rd place finishes. So I think it was pretty good.
How'd you guys get into bowling?
Well, obviously I played sports my whole life. So, I mean, I was playing baseball, but I just kind of fell out of love with the sport. And all my friends started doing bowling. So I just decided to go along with them, and I stuck with it. So now I'm here. I mean, not really much of a story.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you. I was in sports my entire life as well. I just fell out of a lot of sports, and bowling was just like that one sport that just was there for me. It was therapy for me. It was just something that I can get away from if I needed to. So it was just always a good escape for me.
How did you guys know, or was there a point that you knew that you could bowl in college?
Absolutely not. It's just when I got that text from Carl, it was just like, wow, this is a possibility. Like, it blew my mind what possibilities I can like achieve and like what was out there for me, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I'd say like there was a point probably like my junior year where I was like, I'm pretty decent at this. I'm bowling in tournaments. I'm placing pretty well. I can probably be a college bowler, but it wasn't like to start off with. It wasn't really something I wanted to do, but I kind of decided that being a pro athlete, college athlete would be something
Semi-pro.
Would be nice. So
How was your guys' recruiting process, so to speak, like, and how did you end up here?
well, I had probably 8 colleges that were wanting me to bowl on their team, and I visited 5 of them. But this one is like I would just kind of felt like home. I mean, it's kind of close to home. It's a Christian college, so it's just kind of a place where I was like, wow, I could really be here, and it's really good for my major also. So, very like just a good place a place where I could be.
Yeah, it was the same for me. Like, coming to a Christian college it was really good. Except I only had one college come to me, and it was this one. So it was very nice to hear from them.
What would you guys say is the team dynamic with the women's team? Because you guys obviously go compete at the same places, and I know you mentioned them, so obviously you guys know how they finish and stuff like that.
I think you should go first. I don't know.
I'd say our dynamic with the women's team, we're not exactly like together all the time, but we're a pretty close team. We're friends with the girls, and we talk to them. So I wouldn't say we're like completely working together, but we definitely are close with them, and like we work well with them. We practice with them sometimes. So it just depends on the day, really.
Yeah, we always try to help them out and stuff like that if they really need it. So it's like togetherness, you know.
So what does a week of practice look like for you guys? Like, what is there outside of actual bowling?
Well, we have these like strength training things that we're supposed to do, but I'm not sure how much of the team actually does them. For me, I mean, I go to the gym every day, so that's kind of like something that just gets me in shape for bowling. Not that it's a whole like physical. It's not really that physical, but like bowling wise, we have 2 practices a week. They're 2 hours, so it's not that bad, but it can be a lot sometimes depending on if you have tournaments that weekend or not. So
Or finals. Yeah, just bouncing off what you said, like the workouts. I personally don't do them as much as I should be, but that's just me. I know it's a lot for you. It's easy for you because it's natural, but yeah, but bowling is just normal stuff. 2 hours every Monday, Tuesday. So yeah,
And where do you guys go to practice?
go to Crest Lanes
Do you guys ever go for fun, like with your friends?
sometimes.
yeah, I take my girlfriend sometimes. She beat me last time, so
Oh,
Yeah.
shoot.
This kid sucks.
So with both of you guys being sophomores on the team, how have you guys seen you kind of step into leadership roles this season?
I'm not a leader, so Landon.
this guy. Well, I wouldn't say I'm much of a leader either. We have a lot of like higher class people. Like we have some juniors, some seniors who take that role more. But like over the freshmen, like there's a couple on the team. There's 2. So I kind of have that leadership role over them. I help them out. I like introduce them to the team. Like get them kind of just like comfy. And I feel like they're pretty comfy with this now. They're pretty good. One of them starts for us, so he's really good. And obviously, the other one is he's a pretty good friend of mine. We talk a lot during tournaments and stuff. So, yeah, I mean, it's just more of like bringing them into the family, I guess.
So the team won the Warrior Classic, which was the first win in program history. What did that mean to the team?
Oh, it meant so much. See all this work and work ethic really just pay off. It's immense, especially for the program. Like, it can mean so much for our future, and I think it'll bring more better bowlers into our program.
Yeah, it was a big win for us, honestly. Watching the team like push through it and get through that tournament was really nice. Being able to bring home a trophy, that was also really nice. We babied it all the way home, so that was a big thing for us. And it also just like showed our coaches that like we're willing to work. it showed ourselves that we're willing to, push through and work and get to that point. So it was nice.
So you guys have 2 tournaments over break. What does that schedule kind of look for you guys?
Ooh. This is a big. So it's in Pennsylvania, which is our furthest tournament. There are 2 Tier 1 tournaments, which are like the highest tournaments possible. So we're going to Pennsylvania for a week and bowling, like basically back-to-back days. But it'll be fun. It's a busy week, lots of bowling. Especially on break, we kind of like don't have to worry about schoolwork as much, and we can like kind of focus on bowling and focus on building that family aspect that we had before. So I mean, it'll just be like a fun bonding weekend. Hopefully, we'll get some trophies. We'll get a good turnout and see how it goes.
So how much are you guys here? Like, how many days do you get to go home?
I think we go home for a week, and then we leave the 16th, and we're there for 5 days, and then we can go home and have the rest of the break.
Is there anything you guys do as a team for spiritual growth away from bowling?
Oh yeah, we do tons of devotionals like almost every single practice, and even at tournaments when we go, like when we get our hotel, like we have a little bit of time to like kind of unpack and just kind of like relax, and then we go meet up in like a breakfast room or the coach's room and just have a little devotional just to get our spirits up and get us ready for the next day for the tournament.
Yeah, like you said, we have devotionals all the time. Some of our bowlers do them. Our coach also does them just to guide us the way. Before tournaments, we have those devotionals. They're really nice. It's just a good team bonding tournament or team bonding time. And that's just that's with the girls and the guys. So also kind of brings in the family aspect for both of us. Before tournaments, sometimes we pray. If we're doing bad or if we're doing good, we'll sit and maybe have a little prayer during the tournament. So it just kind of we incorporate it a lot.
How do you think that translates to your performances individually and as a team in the lanes?
Well, I think it shows our growth as a family, as a team, spiritually wise, and as bowlers wise. We've had a lot of growth over the past couple of years that I've been here. So I think just incorporating that also brings us closer and allows us to work better as a team, but also allows us to come together as people of God.
You guys are halfway through your sophomore season. What would you say is your biggest takeaway of being a part of the program for almost 2 years?
I mean, being the record holder is really stressful. You know what it is. Okay. No, I'm not trying to boast or anything, but biggest takeaway is definitely just being a part of this family is just such an amazing feeling, because being someone that's not really made friends growing up or anything, and then coming to this Christ-centered community and just making all types of friends on the team and outside the team especially, just it's a different experience and it feels amazing to be here,
Oh yeah, I'd say my biggest takeaway is probably being a team is really important now. Before it wasn't as important, especially with bowling. It was more of an individual sport, but now being a team is really important and working together with people. I think that's probably my biggest takeaway is just how much being a community can help people out.
In your time here so far, I know it's been short, but what is one memory that stands out from being with the bowling team?
Shooting my .299 last year at the Falcon Classic, wasn't it? In Sandusky, Ohio. Yeah. Breaking the individual game record by 10 pins. Chris Mace had it 289 the previous year. Just doing that was insane. Of course, I would have loved to get that last strike, but hey, we'll take it.
I think probably my favorite memory was our first tournament. I wasn't on the varsity team, but watching the varsity team just destroy the other people. We got second that tournament, but it was really cool just to watch the possibilities that we have being a team. Obviously now I'm on the varsity team, so it's definitely coming alive, especially with that win before. So it was just really cool to watch them run the tournament and get that second place.
It was electric.
Well, that's all we have. Good luck with the rest of your guys' season and over break. Have fun with being here for a little bit.
Yeah.
And just thanks for joining.
Thank you.
Of course.
Thanks, Wildcat Nation, for tuning in to episode 13 with IWU Men's Bowling, Caiden Lunsford and Landon Thomas. Thanks so much for tuning in to Season 6, and be sure to follow along in 2025 for Season 7. I'm Abby Harvey with Isaac Wolf here on Wildcat Week, presented by Amplified Media, wishing you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.